Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. As you guys know, I love to feature guitars, amps, and gear from manufacturers that kind of fly under the radar. They don't have the marketing budget of, a Gibson, a Fender, an Ibanez, a PRS, or whoever, but they're making some absolutely incredible gear. So today we've got another video in that series. If you guys like content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel because we're going to keep this series going. But today, look at this thing. It's like on fire. Absolutely incredible. This is a guitar from PJD. So as I mentioned off the top, this is a guitar from PJD, and this model is the CAREY ELITE, a really interesting kind of amalgamation of a few different styles. So we're gonna get into it, look at this guitar, find out what it's all about. Then we're gonna give you guys a bunch of tones, and then we'll talk about the overall construction, final thoughts. But let's start with the overall construction. All right, so let's quickly take a look at some of the highlights on the CAREY ELITE. Now starting up on the headstock, definitely getting some serious T-style vibes on the headstock. When we take a closer look at the logo, the PJD guitars, very nicely etched into the face of the headstock, looks really classy. I think they did a great job there. The tuning machines are vintage Goto, so they've got the split head, which means the end of the string goes into the tuning machine, so you're never going to poke your fingers up here on the headstock, so that's really nice. And when we look at the back, some nice kind of custom touch. You've got number 17 on this particular model and, the serial number. Now, the neck itself is quarter sawn roasted maple neck. I'll take a shot down the neck there. Really beautiful straight grain and a nice deep color. The profile is just a beautiful kind of modern C shape. So very, very comfortable and, with roasted maple should be very stable. Now, when I was taking some close-up shots of this guitar, I've got to say this bone nut is cut exquisitely. One of the nicest I've seen on any guitar at any price. When you run your hand down the neck, you can't tell that it's there at all. It matches on the shoulders so well. And when we take a close-up shot, you guys can see how precise that is. The shoulders match up perfectly. The string slots are super clean. There's no adhesive anywhere. So one of the nicest nuts I've ever seen on any guitar ever. So that's awesome. On the front face of the guitar, we've got a rosewood fingerboard and some really unique dot inlays. They're kind of like, hollow ovals or whatever. I'll take some shots for you guys, but just a nice kind of custom touch that makes it stand out from the crowd. Now moving on to the body, as you guys can see, we've got a quilt maple top in a cherry burst finish, and that really does make it look like this is on fire. It's a nitro finish, so a very thin finish over top that just, really shows off that wood. On the backside, we've got mahogany, and probably the first thing you noticed rather than the mahogany is the matching cavity covers. So we've got flame maple, cherry burst to match the top, really beautiful. And when we look at the end grain here, stunning as well. I mean, this is just mahogany, but you can see it's a two-piece body, beautiful, beautiful grain on that mahogany as well. Now also of note, we've got a bolt-on neck with recessed kind of hex screws holding on the neck. And of course, a really nice bevel here. Makes getting to those upper frets a little easier. Now, other than that, things are pretty straightforward. We've got a 3-way toggle switch, a couple bare knuckle old guard pickups, and a fixed bridge. Other than that, we've got one volume and one tone. Now, one thing I do want to mention is the thickness of the binding. This binding is incredible. It's around the entire body, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. You don't always see, binding that thick on guitars. So in my opinion, looks really fantastic. Now a quick look in the back cavity reveals CTS pots with some really nice cloth wiring. Everything looks very nice, high end. And on the back side, we've got some really nice shielding there. And of course, the route is beautiful. The way it all fits in nice and tight just looks stunning. All right, you guys, now that we know a little bit about this guitar, let's plug it in and take it for a spin. right, you guys, now that we've heard this guitar in isolation, let's throw it into a mix. It's time for the 1-minute solo. So here are my final thoughts on the PJD CAREY ELITE. Now the first thing I want to say is this is just beautiful and interesting from every angle. Whether it's the extra thick, cream binding, whether it's the back cavity covers that match the top, even the mahogany on the back is beautiful. So I mean, this is a really interesting and beautiful guitar. The inlays are unique, the pickguard shape, it's just a thick, one-ply black guard that looks really cool and interesting, and it draws elements from T-style guitars, from the headstock to the bolt-on neck to the strings through the body. It brings in certain elements from a Les Paul, the three-way toggle, the two humbuckers, and semi-hollow. So it kind of draws elements from a bunch of different models and creates something really interesting and beautiful. Now this guitar is completely handmade in the UK, and there's just something different about a handmade guitar over assembly line. That's just the way it is. There's something different about a handmade guitar. And this retails for somewhere around $2,500. And when it comes to handmade guitars, that's a pretty decent price. And I don't know what Gibson or Fender would charge you for like a top and a finish like this, but I'm guessing it would be more than $2,500. So if you're in the market for sort of a unique, high-end, really beautiful, great sounding guitar, check out the PJD CAREY ELITE. Now the only really thing that I would improve on this guitar, or that I could find that I didn't really like, was really the finishing around the F-hole. The cutout was beautiful itself, but I think, in this price range, just a little extra sanding on the inside edge of the F-hole, that's literally the only thing I could find on this entire guitar that I could say, well, maybe it would be nice if they did that. Other than that, great price, amazing guitar, really interesting. So in the end, I can happily recommend the PJD CAREY ELITE. If you're looking for a handmade guitar made in a Western country in a small shop that's not going to cost you, $3 to $5 grand, check these guys out. So I'll link to the guitar in the video description below. All my stuff will be down there as well. T-shirt store, tab store, the gear I use, all that kind of stuff is down there. Other than that, have yourself a great day.